I'm Sara Veale. I'm the managing editor at an architecture studio called Make. We have an in-house publishing arm and we also have an in-house research arm. So I lead the various publications that come out of that, so various books and magazines, and that usually involves a fair amount of writing and editing from my side, as well as sometimes interviewing or commissioning different pieces of writing from other collaborators in the architecture industry. What I love about my job is how it combines what are usually quite distinct areas of work, so research and journalism and publishing, into this kind of single creative role. When you're an editor, you're usually in charge of determining what a publication looks like and also what it feels like, and then aside from that, you have to kind of be in charge of pushing the team towards meeting that goal. So it's a real mix of independent working but also leadership. And we put a lot of care into the editorial that we produce at Make. We hold it to a very high standard, and that's really fulfilling for an editor like myself. There's no feeling like the one you get when a new publication comes back from the printers and you see your name on just a really high quality piece of work. I've loved reading and writing my whole life. I think I always knew that I would end up working with words in some way. I studied English at university, and then I completed a master's degree in English as well. And from there, I started doing a few internships with different magazines, different publishers, just to kind of get a sense of what a job in the world of words might look like. My first job was working as a staff writer at a small publishing house. And that was where I kind of discovered my interest in editing. So I sort of made it my mission to become an editor. I took on a lot of freelance editing on the side. I tried to sort of sharpen up my skills, and that was kind of how I started progressing. Coming to Make was a real turning point in my career. In publishing, you usually work within quite a strict hierarchy of roles. So there are writers, and then there's editors above them, and then there's usually editors or sort of publishing managers above them. But at Make, we have more of a democratic approach, so I've really been able to shape my role towards the type of writing and editing that sort of suits me best and towards what I think suits the business best. And I'm really inspired by that working model. When you work closely with text, it's always helpful to have another pair of eyes looking over it. It's always helpful to have other people feeding in. But at the same time, there's just no better way to progress than diving in yourself and kind of really pushing yourself with no restrictions and going for it creatively. I feel really lucky to have the space to do that here. A piece of advice that has really helped me throughout my career has been to go for opportunities that scare you a little bit. We often use fear as a sort of reason not to do something, but it can actually be an amazing motivator and a really good way to push yourself, especially when you work in a kind of creative industry. It can really kind of push you to new heights of responsibility and accomplishment. Another really useful piece of advice that I've gotten has been to keep in mind that your day job isn't kind of the be-all and end-all of your career. More than ever, people are taking on side jobs, they're diversifying their time, they're really like making ways that they can fit in new goals and new passions that isn't just at the 9-to-5 desk. For example, I love dance, I love writing. About 6 or 7 years ago, I started pitching dance reviews to different kind of arts magazines. And that was a side project that now has started into just a really nice freelance thing that I do on the side, working as a dance critic for a variety of newspapers and magazines. It can be really scary to put yourself out there like that, but it's also like the best way to grow your self-confidence and to discover new opportunities. If there's something you're interested in like doing or making or writing, I really urge people to kind of figure out if there's a way that you can do that. Just because you don't see like the ideal role or project sort of necessarily present itself to you, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It just might be that you're the one that needs to get it started.